Hey everyone, this is Martin from How to Make Mobile Games, and this is part 5 of the developer diary video for the 2D platformer game that I've been developing over this past few weeks, and it is now April the 29th, 2013, just to keep a track on time. I think I started this roughly at the beginning of April, at the end of March 2013, something like this. It sort of gives you an idea of how long this is taking me to do. But bear in mind, I'm not actually working on this full time. I'm probably working on this kind of part time, but I'm trying to do as much as possible to get things done. So anyway, let's move on to what I've changed this past couple of days. I think the part 4 video was 3 or 4 days ago, something like this. So the added left and right button instead of the slide. Okay, so let's jump in. This should be full screen as well as I play here. Yeah, so this is the level select screen. I got this little spinning circular saw cog thing down here just to start to get an idea of how the menu scenes might look. The control system has changed a little bit. Well, not the control system, but just the buttons. What I've got now is I'm going to put a left arrow and a right arrow here. And what that is it just moves the character, as you can see, left and right. And I don't know why it's making the character moonwalk. Doesn't matter right now. But basically this left and right movement here is instead of the slider control that I had a few days ago, and I just changed this one today. The reason was that the control just felt a little bit strange. It wasn't working very well at all. It just seemed like it wasn't very responsive. And I've practiced with this now, and I'd seen this in a couple of other games, just having a left and right button controller, and it seemed to work a lot better. So that's pretty cool. And hopefully, once you guys, if anybody's interested in testing, that'll hopefully feel a lot better as well. Sure, it'll feel more in control because you won't be testing the slider. So that's the first thing. Adjusted physics, so jump height movement is the same. So I had a problem before with the physics. What was happening was on the Mac, when I was playing inside of my editor, the character was jumping really high, and I found out what the problem was there. This is a good tip for anybody who might be running into the same problem. On the mobile device, he was jumping a lot higher on my Android, and that shouldn't happen from platform to platform. It should be he runs the same speed, he jumps the same height. No matter what the frame rate. So even if you've got a very powerful Mac or PC playing it, it should be the same height, the same speed. So it's what we call frame rate independent. And the way to do that is we put all of the physics functions, or the things like the force moving the character, or the force pushing the character in the air, anything that uses the physics engine should be put in fixed update. And fixed update, as far as I'm aware, it updates at intervals. If it updates later, then it takes it into account or something. So if it's a lower frame rate, then it applies that frame rate to the physics. Well, for example, here like this. If I find it, so add force, my rigid body to add force. If you're moving something to the left or right or making it jump, it will take into account that you're working on a slower mobile device or a faster PC, and it will adjust so that everything's the same from platform to platform. So I was having trouble before with this, and the reason is that this here, what I'm doing is I'm clamping the velocity as it's moving left and right, because if you just hold down without a clamp, a clamp is where you limit the velocity or a number or anything. It was running too fast. So what I've done here is I've clamped it. So I've said if it's greater than this max speed, then do this, or if it's lower than max speed, then do that. And so that before was in the update function, which is up here, and it wasn't in the fixed update function, which is what was causing the problem. So if you ever come into the issue where things are not equal on platform to platform, then try to put everything, if you've got any physics code, put that into the fixed update code. You can do input in the update function, which you always should do. So for example here, I've got this, I tap the jump button in the game. In this one, I've got the move left button playing, and that activates a variable that is then checked inside of the fixed update function, and then says, okay, hey, we'll move the character now, or we'll jump the character now. So I'm glad I figured that one out, because that was rattling my brain, and it wasn't really a gameplay update. It was more of a fixing bugs, which I'm not that interested in, but it needed to be done, and it got done fairly smoothly. It took about half a day to figure that out. So added coins in the game. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I think it was Geeky. I'll read the comments in a moment. I'd had the idea as well about putting coins in the game, and I wasn't sure exactly how to do that and whether I should or shouldn't. But I think after your comment, I thought, yeah, that's a good idea after thinking about how to do it, because the replay value is there. So I'll give you an example. I'll click on play again.